Well, let's talk about it at the beginning of the cast. Let's not blow up.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right.
So we're live with another episode of BS Busters. We didn't have one last week because shit happened, because that's life. And considering what's going on right now, everyone should understand the
C19.
well, just everything with COVID-19, everything else. People should understand the moniker of shit happens. So now that we know that shit happens, let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. Let's keep moving forward. But before we do, let's have everyone introduce themselves, starting with the lady on the cast. Uh, Go, please.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages. I am Joe Ray, alias Us's Midweek Podcast, and we basically got a lot of news coming up this.
It's Kenoshi Abominito here to say glad to be on another one of these BS Busters.
All right. And of course, it's me, Mr. Red Fox, owner proprietor, BS Busters. So let's get into it. So basically, this is partially the BS Busters newscast and also the fun cast all combined in together because we missed Saturday's cast. So with that being said, let's get into it.
Final Fantasy VII, by what I've heard, sounds like it's a complete, well, maybe not a complete turd, but
Well, it's a demo.
somewhat of a turd.
It's a $60 demo you're paying for. Because basically, for those of us who, I mean, I know demos now for major AAA games are kind of like passe, but back in the day, demos were a major part of things. So I remember if you got the demo for Final Fantasy VII, which some places did give you the demo for it, if you like got another game or it came in like a magazine or some shit, you got basically the first quarter of the game. So basically, you'd get out of the city, and then the demo would end. And this is basically what this game is. It's a demo, except it's a demo that Square Enix basically tricked you dumbasses into paying $60 for, plus tax. So it's a paid demo.
And it's
with shittier gameplay, but it's pretty gameplay. But it's gameplay that's in no way reminiscent of the original game.
Thank you, Red.
Fancy music, but then again, Final Fantasy VII always had fancy music. Basically, I mean, this just reiterates what I've been saying for years. The soul of Final Fantasy went out when Hironobu Sakaguchi was fired and forced to fall on his sword because of that fucking shitty-ass Final Fantasy movie. Which no one wanted that Final Fantasy movie. No one was like, ooh, yeah. And for some reason, let me let you on a little secret. Critically speaking, the later Final Fantasy movies that Square Enix kept on pumping out to make Final Fantasy VII just keeps on giving a handy to Final Fantasy VII are worse than Final Fantasy.
7, the original.
Yeah, they actually did worse than Spirits Within. So people don't want Final Fantasy as a movie. Like, I don't know why they can't understand that. People don't want Final Fantasy as a movie.
Here's the thing that bugs me. I may have 11, and Red, I gotta say this much. He can hate on me for that one once, especially since the major thing that I like about it was the battle system. We can agree on that. It mostly was Final Fantasy VI brought to the 3D realm.
Yeah, that's all it really was. To me, Final Fantasy VII is an inferior. It's kind of like Tales of Vestigia is kind of like the inferior. To me, is like the inferior version of Final Fantasy or of Tales of Symphonia, like the 360 exclusive. It's like because Symphonia to me is a better Tales game.
Yeah.
And as I said, as much as I like Final Fantasy VII system, seeing what they did to the battle system in Final Fantasy VII R That just made me just scream. People are gonna be and screaming their heads off stupidly. I'm gonna be one of those that's gonna say, "Stop supporting stupid," and get and get thrown BS right into my face.
So,
Especially seeing these people give stupid out of 10 and praise it as game of the year. Oh my god. I think I threw up my mouth here thinking about
What? Final Fantasy VII? Game of the
Final
year?
Fantasy 7R being game of the year.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
not.
like at
Yeah.
this point, I mean, the game of the
Game
year.
of the year means nothing.
Yeah, game of the year
It
means
means
nothing because
absolutely
last
nothing.
year we saw Hideo Kojima and Jeff Keighley fuck on stage. It's live streamed, basically, metaphorically speaking, not literally.
I
So,
was
I mean,
I
who
was trying to
cares?
at least that there's an actual game that goes for the game of the year.
Not to mention, we also saw essentially. We also saw games being. Oh, this is an RPG. That's not an RPG. Put like games that were not in the right
That's a
category being put in the. Like here's the thing. Okay, there's no. I mean, say whatever you want to about the Oscars, but there's a clear delineation between categories. It's like, okay, this is best foreign film, which means it's a film from a foreign country. This is best drama. This is best comedy. This is best animated feature. This is best special effects. Best director. Best script. Like there's clear categories for shit. Video games want that type of recognition, but there's no clear categorization. There's no target audience. There's no target credential for anything. So I'm sorry, but I mean, if there's no clear delineation between what is and what isn't and stuff like that, then there's no way you can sit there and say, well, this game needs to be this. And but I mean, here's the thing. As far as
mm-hmm.
as far as Final Fantasy VII goes, I was never a huge Final Fantasy VII fan. Everyone knows this about me. Not because I don't think
I'm
it's
more the
not
yeah,
because I
I'm more
don't
the
think.
moderate one, but he's that this is overhyped, this BS.
Oh, not just that. It's just, I mean, like, here's the thing. Every single Final Fantasy game that we had up to 7 was trying to move things forward. The only thing that Final Fantasy 7 moved forward was that it went from 2D to 3D, and that's it. It didn't. The battle system's virtually the same. As a matter of fact, I would say the Esper system in Final Fantasy 6 is better than the Magicite system in Final Fantasy 7. Um,
You said the match site system is worse than Final Fantasy VI's Esper system.
no, yeah, it is. Yeah, the seven's Magicite system is worse than 6's Esper system. Even though they're functionally on the surface, they appear to be the same. But the difference is that, like, basically in how each character is differentiated. Because basically, using relics in Final Fantasy VI, you can basically create character builds. Along with an Esper, you can basically create insane character builds, and every character by the end of the game can learn almost every single magic available. Whereas in Final Fantasy VII, it takes so long to level up some Magicites, and certain characters have an affinity with certain Magicites that it's like it's not worth me passing these things around. And leveling
I
them
was
up.
gonna say I could argue with you about the materia system and how simple but also complex, but it doesn't have the same zing as
Not really. I mean, basically, the more you use Magicite during battle, the more it levels up. Once it maxes out, it splits off where a new one comes off of that one, but it's like level 1. So, like, that's how you can get more that way, or you can find them or buy them in some places or win them through Chocobo racing. And that's nice and all, but I mean, the Esper
Yeah,
system was
as
better. Just it.
yes, I was about to say that even though the Final Fantasy VII was simple, it doesn't have the same kind of intensity that Final Fantasy VI's Esper system did.
You know, but that's just me. You know, what do I know? What do I know? But anyway, that's my opinion. I know some
Hey,
people will. I
hey
know
on
some
that.
people will disagree because you know most of the people I know who are like, I love Final Fantasy VII. You ask them, did you play any other Final Fantasies before 7? A lot of them will say, no, I did not. And I'm like, well, I don't give a fuck about your opinion because you have a very small breadth of experience in the series. Now, if you're
And for the
someone
record,
now, if you're
yeah,
someone who comes up to me and says, I've
I'm
been playing Final Fantasy since it was on the NES, jumped to the SNES, jumped to the PlayStation
yeah.
1 and the PS2, and you know, I can say definitively 7 is the best. I'm like, I'll disagree with you, but you have the chops to have an opinion that's worthy of at least me giving some weight to. But most of the people, I'm not saying everyone, most of the people who claim they love Final Fantasy VII, that's the first fucking one they played. And I just don't give a fuck about your opinion if that's the first Final Fantasy you played. And a lot of them, that's the only fucking one they played. So shut the fuck up and stop telling me how it's a great game. But anyway,
record, yeah.
we
I
can
was
keep
gonna
it
say
moving.
that,
We can keep it moving.
yeah.
So yeah, Final Fantasy VII, the remake is turning out like I see these various gaming websites trying to bend over backwards to make it seem like Final Fantasy VII isn't the shit that it is, the remake, and
We can rip on those for ages.
which I'm not going to. I'm not gonna be like, well, how dare you? Because you know that's their opinion. They're
Hello,
entitled to
everyone.
their shitty opinion. They're entitled to their shitty opinion. All right. They're
Yeah,
they're entitled.
like how something else is a dumb opinion. But if anything, I'll say that for after the podcast.
So you know, everyone is entitled to their opinions. Are like opinions. I mean, I've said this before. Opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one. So,
Everybody has one.
or you should.
They all stink.
You should. No, if you properly clean your asshole, it shouldn't stink. If your opinion stinks, maybe you have a shitty opinion. Look. If your opinion is properly thought out and prepared,
Shit.
it shouldn't stink. Just saying. Like an asshole.
Enough said.
So yeah, you know, just like anything else. But yeah, you know. So basically, keeping it moving. The other little bit of news. Microsoft is offering Gears 5 for free, currently on Steam and Windows 10.
Hey, I thought that was Stadia that was offering something free for
No,
a few months.
Stadia is offering Google Stadia Pro for free for 2 months.
YouTube Premium members, yeah.
No, everybody can get in on that shit. The problem is that like they could offer free blowjobs with this, and I still wouldn't take it. I'd be like, it's like we will give you Google. We could give you Google Stadia Pro free for 2 months, and we'll have a world-class porn actress give you a world-class blowjob at the same time as you have this. You can keep the actress who gives you the opposite blowjobs. We'll give you Stadia free for 2 months. I'm like, nah, I'm good. Nah.
Yeah,
I'm
this
good,
is
man.
it. Even when prices are chopped or given away, I still cannot leave the counters.
Yeah, I just don't want Stadia. And here's the games. Okay, here's how much for Google Stadia Pro goes for. Here are the games that you can get for free off of.
Keep count, folks.
Okay, 9 games. Here they are: Destiny 2, the collection. That's already free. Grid. That game's a cheap racing game. Guilt. I heard that's like the only good game on the system. Metro Exodus. Anyone who's a fucking fan of Metro Exodus already has Metro Exodus. SteamWorld Dig 2. SteamWorld Quest Hand to Gilgamesh. If you're a SteamWorld fan, you already have these games. Thumper, which is a music game. If you're a fan of that game, you already have it. Serious Sam Collection. If you're a Serious Sam fan, you already have this. Spitlings, never heard of it, and Stacks on Stacks.
I think that's
So,
at least if I count.
I mean, I just.
What was that?
No, I didn't say anything. I was trying to. I was trying to basically try and put this diplomatically, but I'm all. I checked my bag of fucks and I have none to give. It's empty. My bag of fucks says.
Mine was empty ages ago.
Now, when it comes in regards to Google Stadia, here's the thing. Google Stadia, and I stand by this, the idea of being able to stream your games if you have a good internet connection from any place in your house or someplace like you go to your local coffee house or your cafe or cafeteria type place, and you're like, hey, you're a bookstore where you can sit down and just hang out, and it has a good internet connection. You being able to just pull out your tablet and a little controller and playing a video game for 10 or 15 minutes, maybe 30 minutes, an hour. That's a good idea. I think that's the kind of the future we're going towards in terms of digital and streaming. And I'm not going to be like, well, everything has to be physical, because I mean, who the fuck wants to carry around all that shit every time they want to game someplace? I don't. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I don't.
I'd rather have a handheld than what Stadia offers.
I understand that not everyone wants to do that, but the average, like the reason people have a handheld is because it's convenient. Like the whole idea behind handheld gaming is that people want convenience. The next step from handheld gaming is streaming, because that's even more convenient, because then there's less shit you have to carry around. You have access to more libraries, in theory. But Google Stadia, literally,
that's a failed experiment.
Literally, all you had to do, you were literally at your opponent's 10-yard line. All you had to do was not fuck up and carry it into the end zone, and you couldn't do that. As a matter of fact,
10 yards.
You fell back, got sacked. Someone from the other team picked that shit up and ran it to your 10-yard line. That's how bad Stadia is right now.
I don't even consider that they made it to the 10-yard line, Red.
And it's not good. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing that a company like, okay, if Google was Nvidia, because Nvidia has money but didn't have Google money. If Google was like a little small startup like those smaller streaming services like Ever Arcade or some shit like that, I'd say, okay, you don't have the resources. Google has the fucking money to have made this shit work, but they just literally, they're like someone who shit out, who just threw this shit. It's like someone taking a 10-year-old and saying, here's your backpack, here's $200, go out there and make a way. Like, a 10-year-old can't handle that type of responsibility. So, Google Stadia is fucked. That's all I gotta say. It's fucked. Stop trying to.
I called it, and yet you support it.
I support the idea of
Well, at least
Stadia. And I stand by that. I support the idea of there being a streaming service where people can basically kind of, there being a streaming service where you essentially pay a certain amount of money a month, let's say $50 or $60, and you having access to a library of games that you can play. But they already have that. It's called Google. It's called Microsoft Xbox on PC.
Yeah.
They
You can
already
play the games natively.
it's gonna
yeah.
fail.
No, Xbox on PC isn't failing. It's working out pretty well. And xCloud, which
I
is
mean,
an
the
extension
idea
of
of
that,
trying to.
xCloud, which
Yeah,
is
it
an
I
is.
mean, the
extension
idea.
of that, xCloud, which is an extension of that, is probably gonna work as well because Microsoft is actually doing the shit right. You pay a flat
The
fee.
idea of games as a service isn't going to fail. It's just people need to find a right way to do it.
Exactly.
I mean, again, most people see
Yeah.
their media as disposable. I'm sorry. You know, some of the people on this panel and some of
So,
the people out there
listen,
listening
not
don't
even
like
be
that.
greed,
But
and
Look,
as in
it's
you
not
don't want to trade your game.
it's not
You want your
it's
access to them be
it's
bound to
it's not
the internet.
it's not that people see media as disposable. It's just people want the most bang for their buck. And I'm
yeah,
sorry, but
That is not bang for your buck. That is basically by
look, okay,
contract.
okay. Google, sorry, Microsoft's online gaming, Netflix gaming type service is, I think, at this point like $10, $12 a month. Let's just say $10 a month. Or you could pay like $100 a year. Okay, that's the price of two AAA games, like less than two AAA games, so $60. Okay, $120. Okay. Now you can pay $10 a month or $100 a year and have access to 60, 70, 80 games that entire year. And yeah, not all of them are going to be AAA. Maybe only like 10-15% are AAA, but that's still more than two games that you'd get for the 120 you'd be spending yourself. Or you can spend $120 to get two AAA games and not have the service, and then you just have those two fucking games. So yes, in terms of bang for your buck, Microsoft's online games as a service platform gives you more bang for your buck than you just buying two games. Okay?
uh,
Now here's the thing. Me personally, this is coming from someone who is a major, like, I'm very much into physical media. I'm a vinyl file. I'm a bibliophile.
that's what makes this
I have a
worse
huge
because I
fucking
know what you
library.
are.
I have a huge fucking library of physical shit. But, look, I also have Kindle because I don't always feel like carrying around a fucking book with me. Or books because I'm huge into books and I read really quickly. Like, I remember 3 years ago, I have a 6 foot tall library. Well, all the bookcases in my library are 6 foot tall, just filled with fiction, with science fiction and fantasy. I read the entire thing in a summer, and these are not thin, dumbass, I can barely read books. These are fucking, 300, 400, 500, 600 page books, and I'm reading through them like no one's business. Now, with the power of Kindle Unlimited, I can read as much, well, not as much as I want. I can only read 10 at a time. But still, I can blade, and I don't have to carry all that shit with me. I can just literally okay, and boom, right on my cell phone. Or if you have a tablet, but I hate those Kindle tablets. They're shit. But
yeah.
they have built-in obsolescence. So I mean, it's convenient for me to have Kindle Unlimited. Now, does that mean that every single book, like a lot of books that I have physically are not on Kindle? Or they're overly expensive on Kindle. So it's like, it's better for me to have physical. And for that, I have the physical version, or I have it digitally in other mediums. Yes, I have books digitally in other mediums. But yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that, if you're one of those people who says physical only, God bless you. Good for you. I'm not against physical only, but I can understand where people like the idea of just having a streaming service that they pay a flat fee for and they get access to a ton of games. I can understand it. I'm not saying it's right, but I can understand it. All right. Um, keep it moving. E3 is dead.
Yep.
You are dead. No big surprise.
Yeah,
I'm
EA
sorry,
is
I couldn't
dead.
help but make TF2 reference.
EA is dead. EA is dead. It should have died years ago when it stopped being about consumers and about we have to announce this so our shareholders will be happy and not about consumers.
Or want to try out the newest game or find out what the newest news of the games.
Well, I mean, the thing that E3 wasn't about is E3 grew out of the roots of the Consumer Electronics Show, right? Except like it was because video games became such a big thing that it was like, okay, we need to make this about. We need to have a show just for this one part of the Consumer Electronics Show. The problem is that it stopped. Like the Consumer Electronics Show was designed to show off new products that were going to come to the market and show how cool this shit could be to consumers. Consumers. Whereas E3 has very little to do with consumers these days. I mean, there are games that have been shown at E3 that once they came out were completely turned out to be it never came out. Like, remember, This Is Vegas? That it was gonna be basically like GTA except set in Las Vegas. That game never came out. It was shown off at E3 though.
I have to say, was it shown at 2015?
What, This Is Vegas? No, This Is Vegas was shown off in like 2005, 2006. I mean, there's tons of games that have been shown off at E3 that when they came out, they either didn't come out or they were so vastly removed from what was originally shown that it was just a completely different thing.
Some things I wish were still vaporware.
But yeah, I just personally think that E3 it's about time. And now they're like, oh well, we're gonna stream it next year. I'm like, no one gives a shit. No one cares.
After what you guys done?
Not even that. It's just E3 is irrelevant. I mean, I hate to say that because I know some people consider E3 to be Christmas for gamers. Because some people are fucking stupid, but E3 is it's a waste of space.
Yeah.
All right, it's a goddamn waste of space. Okay?
I'm not gonna lie, but it was ruined.
I mean, E3 has been stale and a waste of space for years because there is absolutely with the rise of streaming platforms like Steam. I mean, so Steam streams like Steam, YouTube, Twitch. Like there is absolutely, and even these own companies having their own websites. There is nothing that has been shown at at E3 that couldn't have been shown someplace else. Not a damn thing. So I mean, basically E3 is the equivalent of you going to a restaurant, right? And they serve you a hamburger that you could make at your house.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, shit, I could make this at my house. I don't need to come here.
Yeah.
Like, and when I say, I don't mean you're a particularly good cook. I mean, literally, that hamburger is so plain and basic. You could have just stayed home and made your own shit.
Yeah.
That's basically how E3 is. It's like not for us, the consumers, but for these console manufacturers and third parties and second parties and first parties, like
And shareholders.
none of the shit. Well, it became about the shareholders. We have to show these games so that our shareholders know we have shit coming down the pipeline, and the media will know we have shit coming down the pipeline. It's like you could have shown this shit. You could have had a digital event and just stream this shit. And some of the shit they've shown, even in the digital events, it's like this didn't need to be here. Hell, Nintendo had a mini direct a few weeks ago where they showed some fucking shovelware games in the shit. I'm like, y'all didn't need to show this shit. But I'm glad. Look, listen. I'm glad they just did it in a digital event and not a like. Remember that year that Microsoft dropped a fucking Ford 5.0 Shelby from the ceiling?
Yeah.
I'm like, why?
Was that for Forza too? I mean, was that for Forza?
I think it was, but still, I'm like, why? Why would you spend? Look, listen, the Xbox One is failing spectacular. Like, okay, let me put it this way: if you're a console manufacturer, you're like a parent, okay, and that console is your kid, okay, right? And like when your kid is fucking up, and then you do all this extravagant shit instead of focusing on why your kid is fucking up. That's basically what them spending money to drop a fucking. It's like, okay, the Xbox One has no games of note on it except for Forza, and you spent all this money to bring a Shelby to California and drop it, put it in the ceiling and drop it from the ceiling. Are you fucking stupid? And that was only.
I was about to say that was alcoholic.
No, it was dumb.
I was thinking it was alcoholic. As in, even a drunk wouldn't do that.
Okay, it was some stupid shit, and basically what I'm saying is this: E3 has been dying, and this. Them floundering around. Well, we'll have an electronic conference and we'll do. Man, stop. Just fucking stop with that bullshit. All right. The only good thing about COVID-19 in regards to E3 is that it gives them a face-saving way of saying, we're done. Bye. We're out.
Yeah. So they say they're gonna stream E3 next year. That's their plan.
Why?
Yeah.
Why stream E3? Why stream E3 when every other company, Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo, all they have to do is just have a digital event that has nothing to do with E3? Like, there's nothing, because here's the thing: the third parties are just going to glom onto what Sony and Microsoft are doing. Because anything that's not going to be shown in Sony or Microsoft showing their, because those are going to be third party systems too. Anything that's not going to be shown from third parties on their platforms, they can just add to the PC gaming thing, which is also streamed.
Yeah.
So why? So there's nothing E3. E3 serves no purpose these days. It is obsolete. Okay?
Yeah.
It's like human beings' tailbone. We don't have tails anymore, and yet the vestigial little flipper is still there. But we don't have tails anymore. We evolved to not have tails. All right?
Yeah.
So, E3 is done for. No one cares anymore. Stop with that shit. I'm glad it's gone, too. Hate that. I hate that fucking, I hate E3. I've covered it, but I don't, E3, the last E3 where I felt that this was something cool was no. I can't think of one.
This is probably way back.
I can't think of one E3 where I was like, man, this is cool. Nope, sorry. I can't think of it. Some more news. Sea of Thieves. Sea of Thieves is coming to the Windows Store.
Isn't it already on the Windows Store?
I mean, sorry, it's coming to Steam.
Oh, it's
So
okay.
now Steam people can play this mediocre piece of shit.
Damn.
Well,
There's some things that should
man.
not be.
We know Sea of Thieves is it's a mediocre piece of shit. Why are we
I was
trying
about to
to?
say there's some games that should never be systems.
Why are we?
Sea of Thieves is one of them.
Why are we? Why? I mean, like, here's the thing. Basically, the people who defend Sea of Thieves are like someone who, like, the first, like, they get a girlfriend, right? The first girlfriend who, actually lets them get past second base, and they're like, yeah, man, she's great. But then you take a look at this girl. They talk her up. They chat her up. Oh, she's awesome. She's hot, and she's not really attractive at all. Matter of fact, she's downright ugly, but it's the first girl that let them get past second base, so they're like really excited about the shit. And it's like
Yeah, I've known those guys.
you're just,
I've known those guys.
you just kind of like, you just think this is awesome because it's the first time you got some, but this is really,
Yeah,
you're
I've
just,
seen those girls.
you're trying way too, you're trying way too hard, bruh. Because here's the thing. Okay, look, listen. Okay, this game is made by Microsoft Rare. Okay, Microsoft Rare is shit. It's been shit for years. Okay, literally, Microsoft bought Rare. Rare, which was one of the best
And
second-party developers Nintendo ever had, and they ran them into the goddamn ground. Ran them into the ground. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's sad because I remember literally I remember when Rare came into their own. Like I remember playing Battletoads at my friend's house because at the time I didn't have an NES and I didn't have Battletoads, and I was like, oh, this game's nice. But then once the SNES hit, Rare really they got into that little relationship with Nintendo and they stepped up their game because basically Rare was putting out shit that was actually like they were having a little tete-a-tete with Nintendo. Like Nintendo's like, hey motherfucker, Super Mario World, and Rare's like, okay, Super Mario World, this is a good game. I think we can do better than Super Mario World. Well, go ahead and try, motherfucker. And they did. They did Donkey Kong Country, and that game is great. Okay, if I had to give a grade to Donkey Kong Country, it's an A. All right. Super Mario World is an A.
it's a
And when I say an A, it's like a 95. Okay? Super Mario World is like a 93. Donkey Kong Country, the first Donkey Kong Country is an A. It's like a 95. That's a pretty good A. Not an A plus, but pretty good. But then I was like, man, how are they going to top Donkey Kong Country? Because this game is pretty damn good. They come out with Donkey Kong Country 2. That's an A plus game. Donkey Kong Country 2 took everything in the first game and kicked it up to another notch. It was like, oh, you thought Donkey Kong Country was badass? Well, guess what? I'm just getting started, motherfucker. Drop the hammer down. Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy's Kong Quest. Oh my God, that game is so good. So good. I mean, it is great. Like Tony the Tiger says, it's great. All right. And then they did Donkey Kong Country 3, which is not as good as the first two games. It's like a B grade game, but I equate that game with Yoshi's Island. It's like Yoshi's Island in terms of straight up platforming isn't as good as Super Mario World, but it's good. It's a B grade game. But then they were stepping up to other people. Because Rare made their own kind of like a fusion between Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat. Killer Instinct! And that game's good. It's legitimately a good fighting game. Not like Sega's, what was that piece of shit, Eternal Champions? Where they're trying too hard. And then they went from there to the N64 with Banjo-Kazooie. And look, I'm not even going to compare Banjo-Kazooie to Mario 64 because if there wasn't a Mario 64, there would be no Banjo-Kazooie. But I mean, goddamn, they were firing on all cylinders on the N64. You had Killer Instinct Gold. You had Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie, Conker's Bad Fur Day, Donkey Kong 64, Jet Force Gemini. Any other games they brought out for the N64? Well, that's it. That's all I can think of. Oh no. My favorite kart racing game came out from them. Diddy Kong Racing. 6 games on the N64. All of them are fire. All of them. Like, if you own an N64 and you get any of those games, you aren't going to be disappointed. You're going to get a good, solid game. Oh, Perfect Dark. So that's 7. There you go. 7 games. GoldenEye. I already said GoldenEye. 7 goddamn games on the N64. All of them are good. If you get any of those games for your N64, you're going to have a good game. And then the GameCube came along, and they did Star Fox Adventures, which kind of sucked. Not because the game itself sucked, it's because Nintendo was like, you need to add Star Fox to this game. I think it would have been better without Star Fox. Like, the Star Fox elements in that game take me out of it, personally.
I think that was a case of measurement of risk and reward. Like, would you want a new series or be known under a certain franchise?
I'm just saying the Star Fox elements in that game bring it down for me. Like, it would have been better as just its own thing. Because you add Star Fox shit to it, it makes the game not make sense. Like Fox McCloud going around hitting enemies with a staff. It's like, this motherfucker's a spaceman. He has a gun. He has a gun.
Blaster.
Why would he need a staff when he's got a gun? That doesn't make sense.
I was gonna say you would not need a gun if you're trying to do diplomatic reasons.
And then,
or
look, listen.
Or if you're out of ammo.
Okay, it's like Star Wars. Okay, Luke Skywalker crashes on Dagobah, right? And he's talking with R2. He's like, I have this strange feeling we're being watched. And he pulls out a blaster because he has a gun, okay? If you're a pilot, if you're a star pilot, and you have a starfighter, and you crash on a planet, you have a gun, okay? I say this as someone who reads a lot of science fiction, which is what Star Fox is based on. If you are a space pilot, you have a gun. It doesn't make sense. Sorry, I'm not gonna... All I'm gonna say is this. Star Fox Adventure would have been better had Star Fox not been in it. Just saying. But anyway...
Yeah, it should have been a different game.
It should have continued to be Dinosaur Planet. That's all I'm saying. But enough of that being said, then they were bought by Microsoft. And Rare went to shit. Because... they put out umpteen games under Microsoft and only 2 of them are good. Viva Pinata Viva Pinata 2.
Yeah, I was gonna say that Rare was starting to decline during the GameCube era.
Yeah, here's the thing.
So
here's what I'm gonna say.
That Nintendo giving up.
Star Fox Adventures had, believe it or not, like I'm gonna side with the Rare apologists on that one because I think Star Fox brought that game down, and had it just been Dinosaur Adventures, probably would have been a better game. Because the Star Fox elements added to that game kind of fucks up the game flow of that game. But with that being said, under Microsoft, they really went downhill under Microsoft because the Rare magic was gone, except for 2 games that I wouldn't be surprised if they were started when they were still working under Nintendo. Viva Pinata 1 and 2, because those games are good. They don't even feel like they belong on a Microsoft system. They really don't. But Viva Pinata 1 and 2 are good. Let's see. But the other games that came out under Rare, under Microsoft, are shit. Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, shit. Grabbed by the Ghoulies, shit. Cameo Elements of Power, shit. Those Xbox sports games, shit.
Hey, no, those games are not shit.
You're right. Because you can take shit and you can mix it with some dirt and make a good manure and grow something good out of it. You can't do shit with those shitty ass games.
That's what I was saying.
Than shit. They're worse than shit. So
yes.
Basically, Microsoft ran Rare into the ground. And the latest game that people were like, yeah, Sea of Thieves is going to be Rare coming back. Sea of Thieves is going to be Rare. Sea of Thieves came out, and it's shit. Actually, it's worse than shit. It's boring. It doesn't really have a story. The gameplay is meh. I mean, the rare magic is gone. If you want a taste of that rare magic, go play a Platonic game. All right.
Like has finally released enough games to try to at least say that they're making a grand stand.
You want to get a hint of Banjo Kazooie / Conker's Bad Fur Day / Donkey Kong 64? Go play the first ukulele game. You want some Donkey Kong Country action? Go play Ukulele 2.
Tired of your shit.
All right, but don't look. If someone says, "Oh man, this is if someone says this is coming from Rare and Microsoft Rare, I'm like, yeah, well, it's probably going to be some shit. Cuz they've made nothing but shit for years at this point.
With exceptions.
And I know people are going to say,
The
well,
Viva Pinata series.
What about Killer Instinct and Battletoads? Those aren't even made by Rare. Rare owns the IPs, but they aren't made by Rare. Another studio's making those damn games, which tells you. I mean, could you imagine if Nintendo was like, "Yeah, we can't make Legend of Zelda games anymore. We can't." If HAL was like, "Yeah, we don't make Kirby games anymore." That's the shit we're dealing with here. So. I can't deal with it anymore. I'm done. So I guess we can get to these main topics, which is unpopular opinions in gaming. These are opinions that other people might not. Jewel already got one of mine, which is I think that streaming. I don't think it's the direct future. I think we'll have one more console / dedicated gaming device gen. Maybe we'll go to the 10th. But after that, it's going to be streaming. Streaming is going to be a huge thing. Am I happy about it? Not necessarily, but I think within the next 5-10 years, that's where we're going. You know, what do we think about the future of gaming once we get past this incremental increase bullshit? So that's the other topic we'll cover, and the best retro games to pass the time that we're playing to pass the time. So I guess we'll do the first one first. So what unpopular opinion do you have in gaming? Like one that like people normally hear, if they heard it, they'd be like, I can't believe that.
I think the N64 PlayStation era, the older I get, the worse, the less I like those eras. Especially since a lot of the good games that came out were remade and look and play a lot better than than those older games. So it's just I think the N64 controller is really shitty, but it's just me.
I mean, I can respect your opinion, but I think the N64 controller for 3D games, the N64 controller with the analog control stick was actually pretty good. For games that were built around that control stick. Because trying to play games, like even playing PC ports of games that were on the N64, mentally I try to, like I have to go and get my N64 controller and USB that shit in order to play those games. I can't play them without an N64 controller. It's weird, I know, but can't do it. Can't do it.
I could agree.
Like believe me, like Mario 64 on the DS, the remake is, in terms of gameplay content, is the better version of Mario 64. But no analog control stick means that game sucks. You know? Like it doesn't even feel right to play that game with a D-pad. No. But you know, you're entitled to your unpopular opinion in gaming. Jewel, what's your unpopular opinion in gaming? You're like, look, I know some people are gonna give me flack about this, but I'm gonna say it.
I've been, besides the one that I would really rip you on for every single cent I have.
All right.
This is this is a Pokemon one, and I'm gonna on this, no matter how much I defend it. But I say Gen 6 was the last generation of Pokemon that actually gave a F before.
Who were the starters in Gen 6?
Finnegan, Chespin.
Oh, so like the Pokemon X and Y? That was the last gen that you think that
Yeah.
that they actually gave a shit about? Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah.
have to agree with you on that one. I think that's the last gen where the Pokemon Company was actually trying. I think that's the last gen where like
Yeah.
we got to do something different. I mean, even though Pokemon X and Y is basically a remix of Red and Blue. So much so that their colors, even though they're X and Y, are red and blue. That's not a coincidence, folks. um.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have to fight off a lot of people saying that generation the series. I'm saying that's the last time they gave an F.
Yeah, I agree. I know some people will get mad, but I don't give a shit. So
Hmm.
I guess it's my turn. My unpopular gaming opinion that I will share with you guys is, um, okay, I got three of them. First one, Fire Emblem. Now that it has become popular and mainstream, has gotten shittier.
I would agree with you with one or two of this, but that's about it.
It's gotten like, okay, like Fire Emblem Awakening was the perfect balance between hardcore and casual. The second game after that was
Yeah,
not quite
I
as
could agree
like
with.
that second game after Awakening, not as good as Awakening. Gaiden was
Yeah,
a
as
little.
I said, the first two that were on I could argue with that, but after those two, I could fully agree
Well,
on.
Awakening made it popular, but Awakening was balanced between the two. Awakening was basically kind of like the Resident Evil 4 for Fire Emblem. Like it was just modern enough that it got people who weren't into Fire Emblem, but it still kind of harkened to old school fans as well. But then after that, you get the second game, Echoes, and it just that fucking DLC and having three different versions of that game and all the DLC money grabbing, that was wrong. That was some bullshit right there.
I could fully agree on.
And then they did Gaiden, which I own, and Gaiden's not bad. I would rather them just make a straight up Fire Emblem RPG instead of remaking Gaiden. They just straight up just like, okay, this is a Fire Emblem side story where instead of it's the normal units, you build a party and you go around. It's like a typical RPG. So we have the weapon triangle in there and shit like that. I would like that. That would be cool to me. But I mean, just Fire Emblem now, like Fire Emblem Three Houses, I think it's overrated. I don't think it's that great of a game. I don't own it. I played it at a friend's house before the Corona thing hit. And I mean, it's okay, but it's not a Fire Emblem game. I mean, like that's the thing. This isn't Fire Emblem. It's something else. Like at best, it feels like a spinoff. It doesn't feel like a Fire Emblem game. I know some people are gonna be like, "Oh, well, fuck you. I don't care." My second unpopular opinion is, um, uh, Nintendo's sports games for the last 2, 3 gens have been shit. Um,
I
Yeah.
would say that depends on which sports games you're talking about,
I mean,
because
they're non Mario Kart sports
soccer.
games. Mario Soccer, the baseball game, like they're just not that good. And those Mario and Sonic at the Olympics, those games can eat shit and die, as far as I'm concerned.
Um, the I was gonna say the games they're worse than the Mario Party games, and I know Mario Party games.
And the reason, and here's the thing: Nintendo, in my opinion, never had the greatest sports games like brand from Nintendo, except for maybe Ken Griffey. Ken Griffey was pretty good, but like the shit that was like, yeah, Nintendo presents this game, hockey, baseball, soccer, that type of shit. They were okay, but it's just gotten worse. And here's the thing, Nintendo. Okay, during the Wii U generation, I could understand them basically not wanting to put the money behind developing good sports games. But they're making money hand over fist with the Switch. There is no reason not to have some good sports games on that system. And I don't mean simulations. I mean arcadey style. Why haven't we gotten a Super Mario football? And when I say football, I mean American football, not football or soccer here in America. I mean football, gridiron.
I was about to say,
All right.
you want football and not strikers.
Well, I want American football, gridiron football, not
That's how I said.
not soccer or de
You want
football.
football and not strikers.
Not the Association de Football, as they call it, because I'm not a big soccer. Even though I played soccer for like 5 years when I was younger, I'm not into soccer. I don't like that. I don't like that sport. It's boring as fuck to me. I would rather watch two houseflies fuck than play soccer ever again. That's how boring it is. To me.
Wow.
To me, yes, soccer is a boring sport to me. And these people, I remember when they had the World Cup, and these people were crying because their team lost. I'm like, motherfucker, it has nothing to do with you whether or not these people lose or not. Why are you crying, you pussy? Sorry.
As I said, you just ignited a fire underneath our international viewers.
Like
so
I said, it was
on you.
It's an unpopular opinion. It is an unpopular opinion. Next. My last unpopular opinion. This is a Nintendo opinion yet again, because Nintendo's the golden boy, and they can do no wrong even when they do fuck up to a lot of people. So I will say this. Here's my unpopular opinion. It has something to do with intelligent systems. Intelligent systems. I was charting when the Paper Mario series started to go downhill. When the Paper Mario series started to get over casualized and bullshitty. And the Paper Mario series started to go downhill and get shitty when the Fire Emblem series started to get ultra casualized.
You mean during 3DS days?
Coincidence? I think not. Dun dun dun.
And as much as I would love to throw a chair right into Sticker Star's face, I'd have to agree with you and send a chair right into Intelligent Systems' face.
Yeah, so basically, those are my 3 unpopular opinions in gaming. And I didn't attack anyone personally, but I do think that, Oh, and here's another unpopular opinion. Just off the cuff. And I know some people might get mad at me, but my favorite conventional controller of the modern age of gaming is still the GameCube controller. I love the game. It feels so good in your hands. It feels so good in your hands. The analog, the digital.
I would have face palmed if you went with the N64.
No, the GameCube controller. My favorite.
Where your GameCube love comes from.
My favorite modern.
But for the love of Arceus, let it go.
My favorite modern controller. I can't. I just love the GameCube controller so much. It feels so good in your hands. Those shoulder buttons that they have the spring in them, so it's like you can press them down and then they could click, and that's like your licks. Oh, it feels so good. Oh, I love the GameCube controller so much. I love it. I love it. I love the GameCube controller. I love that controller.
If you're not careful, you'll be caught with a porno with that controller in your hand.
I could tell you a story about a girl I knew and the vibrate function on a GameCube controller, but I won't. Okay. But the thing.
Thank you.
The thing about the thing about the GameCube controller that I like the most though is you could do so much with you could play fighting games with the GameCube controller. You could play platformers with the GameCube controller. You could play adventure games with GameCube controllers, first-person shooters, third-person shooters. It was just a very versatile controller. and it wasn't just a fucking copy of the SNES controller, like Microsoft and Sony keep on doing. Because the PS4, the PS5, the DualShock, all those controllers are basically just copies of the SNES controller. Okay, Nintendo has continued to innovate with their controllers. And with a close second of my favorite controllers is the Wii U gamepad. I like the Wii U gamepad. The second screen experience was fucking awesome, and I stand by that statement. Some people might say, "What about the Switch controller? What about the fucking Switch controller? It's a controller. It does have HD Rumble, but it's not like they're using it for shit." So,
I was about to. If you for me, the Switch controller is basically. I'm gonna likely get flack for this, but I consider it as if it was made the conventional way.
I mean, I wouldn't even say conventional. It's a Xbox 360. It's an Xbox One controller with better rumble. It's basically what it is. Except you can split it in half and it becomes two shittier controllers for people. Like basically the Wii U Joy Cons the Switch Joy Cons as one controller is like a decent controller. But when you split it in half, it's like when someone came into your house, you'd have the good controller for yourself and give your friends the shitty one. It's like you split and gave two people the shitty controllers to play with. Why? Why would you do that? Like Nintendo's acting like they did a good thing. I'm like, man, I'd rather pay more and have two real functioning controllers than this little mammy-made teddy brick shit right here. This raggedy ass shit right here. But that's just me. Another unpopular opinion.
I could fight. I could argue if you a bit, because if anything, it kind of is a mini joystick, but that is pushing it to a limit.
Look, I'm not. I don't have the biggest hands. I'm not Andre the Giant or Magic Johnson or anything like that. But my hands are decent size, and the Joy-Con controllers are motherfucker. For my hands.
You think they're tiny?
Just because I've gone to people's houses and brought my Joy-Cons because we were playing party games, and for simple shit they're great, but for like, and don't get me wrong, like
Stuff.
this is coming from someone who loved. With my third favorite Nintendo controller is the Wii U Nunchuck. Sorry, the Wii Nunchuck. I like the Wii Nunchuck. And I know people are like, you're flailing and flagging around. I don't give a shit. I had some really great games with the Wii Nunchuck, like No More Heroes. With Travis Touchdown and No More Heroes.
Yeah.
Especially charging up my beam saber. Because when your beam saber is nice and limp and underpowered,
I was about to say,
you gotta give it a hand. Although some of us, you need two
hands.
That's the
most perverted way.
Need two hands to get that shit up. But yeah, look, listen, like you notice, look, I like here's the thing, okay? Some people say, well, what about your PS2 controller, your PS1 controller, your PS3 controller? The reason I don't give Sony credit for their controller is because their controller is basic as fuck. It's just a derivation of their ripoff of the SNES controller. It's nothing new. It's the same shit every single generation with one new little MacGuffin added to it. Doesn't really do anything. It's a wasted space. Microsoft can go fuck themselves. They're 4 console gens in, and they still haven't come up with a base controller that you don't need batteries for. What the fuck is wrong with you, dude?
I was about to say, I'm surprised that Microsoft with their controller.
Like seriously, because here's the thing, Nintendo with their cheap asses, Nintendo with their cheap asses with the gamepad, basically had an internal battery with the gamepad, and the Wii U and the Switch, right? And that was in the 7th gen, okay? No, 8th gen, 8th gen for the for Nintendo, okay? Sony has had a wireless controller since the PS3, all right? Where you didn't need a battery.
The PS3.
Yeah, where the battery was internal. you're the only people who claim that you have this advanced system, but you can't have a fucking controller that has an internal lithium ion energy cell in it. Like people got to just go with those double A's. Get the fuck out of here with that shit.
I was about to say, more important battery types. We do not need to burn them
Well,
on
even just for
coal
the environment,
controllers.
I mean, like, yes, lithium ion isn't as well. I think lithium ion is slightly more recyclable than double A standard, but
Triple A's.
no, for the Xbox, it's using double A batteries. But I'm like,
Ah,
you would think they could do something different, but no, same shit. I mean, when third party console manufacturers can make can make a controller that's cheaper than the Xbox One or for 60 under 60 $70 that has a that's rechargeable and has a lithium ion cell in it, and you have the nerve to charge someone 80 90 60 $70 for a controller, and it's using double A batteries. Man, fuck you, Microsoft. um So yeah, I wound up having 5 unpopular opinions. Although I think some people might be with me on those double A batteries. Um, I guess we can save the future of gaming for Saturday.
hmm.
Um, and get to this. What retro games are you guys playing to pass the time in this quarantine?
I've been playing a remixed version of Mario RPG.
Oh really?
Uh,
Is it fun?
yeah, it's pretty fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I can understand you wanting to play that game remix because Mario RPG is one of those games that after you play it so many times and you basically know how everything's supposed to go and you can get everything, it gets boring. It's like,
Yeah.
well, not boring, but it's just like it becomes too samey. It's like Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. Like once you really know that game backwards and forwards, you can play it almost like brain dead. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
man, you got to do something different, like mix it up or something, randomize when you get shit, something.
Yeah.
What have you been playing, Joel?
For me, I've been really going back and trying to see how something evolved over time to where it is today, and that game will be enough Tetris.
Really? So I guess you're starting with the original and then going to the later editions, like Tetris
Yep.
2. You don't include Tetris to Attack because it's not even Tetris again. It's paneled upon.
Actually, believe it or not, I was going between Tetris Attack, which is upon, and the original Tetris. I was going through both of their histories.
Yeah, but paneled upon is a completely different game. They just Nintendo had the Tetris IP, so they slapped Tetris on it. Tetris Attack
Yeah.
isn't a bad game. Actually, I think Tetris Attack on the Game Boy is actually better than the Tetris Attack on the Super Nintendo. Um, Ironically enough, that game was programmed by HAL, and Satoru Iwata is like one of the lead programmers on that game. It's actually really good. Like I was surprised how many games that I loved were actually programs by Satoru Iwata. I'm like, damn, Iwata touched my life.
We'll miss that soul.
He touched my
Yeah.
life in a good way, But yeah, yeah. What other?
Yeah, I've been going through the past of some of the games, and well, to the pick from, and I went with Tetris and Palette Upon, which is for people known like in the U.S.
Yeah, Tetris Attack. Yeah, yeah,
And I
Tetris Attack.
and I get the feeling of how different those two are.
Yeah, I mean, I think Panel Upon, aka Tetris Attack, is to me, it's a better game than Tetris. I know people are gonna get mad, but Tetris is basic as fuck.
I was about to
Even
say,
Tetris 2 is kind of basic.
I was what? Because can you say that Tetris is basic?
Yeah, it's basic. It's a basic
I
puzzle
just
game.
had to wonder about that.
Tetris Attack, especially on the Game Boy, has a lot more depth going on to it. It's got more modes. The music is better. And I mean, the only downside is that it doesn't have color, but who cares? I mean, that's like saying I can't watch this movie. It's in black and white. It's like, really? What type of shallow ass shit is that? You know,
Yeah. Though, if anything, because looking towards today and the future, in a sense, Tetris is the one that has gotten to such high praise and even got to
Yeah, because
while
Tetris was there first.
yeah, though I barely see anything for Puzzle League in a sense.
It's the Glenn
At least
Armstrong. That's because Pound Upon has been rebranded so many fucking times. Like in America, when we first got our hands on it, it was Tetris Attack. Then during the
it
during the
evolved into
fourth gen,
Puzzle League.
and then in the fifth gen, they slapped another name on it, Pokemon Puzzle League. And then I think it's still
They
Puzzle
took
League to this
Pokemon off
day.
and kept Puzzle League.
Yeah, it's just Puzzle League. So
Yeah, and it hasn't BS as far as I know.
I mean, personally, like, here's the thing. Tetris is very hit or miss, whereas Puzzle League, you know what you're getting. Okay, you're clearing panels. You clear a certain amount of panels. It drops blocks on your enemy. And, you drop enough blocks they can't clear them fast enough, you win. Or you clear a certain amount and you basically can do stuff. That's what it's all about. And I like that. Or you do combos and it does damage to your enemy's life bar until you take them out. So I like Tetris Attack. Is it perfect? No, but it is what it is. I've been digging into my backlog of old games on PC and console. I'm gonna do a video comparing Baten Kaitos and Baten Kaitos Origins. I'm capturing footage for my ultimate. I'm making a video series called My Ultimate Fallout Game.
God damn it.
Yeah. Let's see what else. Oh, and I was playing Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. It's still good. It's not great.
Game.
It's still good. It's still good.
I own that game physically, but I use an emulator because I don't feel like play it.
I can understand that. I used to. For the GameCube, since I haven't found a good emulator for the GameCube, I know people want to say the Dolphin, but I just
it isn't. The Dolphin isn't good, all that great. I mean, it's serviceable, but
it'll get the job done. But the GameCube, the GameCube is one of those. The GameCube is one of those systems, just like the N64. The N64 and the GameCube are two systems that are really hard to emulate. The emulation is still not like 100%. You can emulate SNES perfectly. Matter of fact, emulation has surpassed the hardware at this point. Same thing with the NES. Same thing with Sega Genesis, Sega Master System, the PS1, the PS2. You can emulate those consoles beyond what the original hardware could do. But the N64 and the GameCube, those consoles are a motherfucker to emulate.
Yeah, they are.
And games that are on those systems, like everyone's like, man, you can emulate N64. I'm like, no, you can't. If you don't believe me, okay, emulate. Try and emulate. Find a way to get your hands on the ROM for Gauntlet Legends for the N64. Play that game. It will be, even with the best emulator and the best hardware you have, it's not gonna run properly.
It'll be a pain in the rear.
No, there's going to be shit missing. There's going to be artifacting. There's going to be special effects that aren't there. The music's not going to be good. The timing's going to be off. Like, because here's the thing, okay? I have a friend who built like a $20,000 PC. All right? Top of the line, everything. That motherfucker can't get N64 games to run properly. And he's using the hardware to accelerate the shit. It's hardware accelerated, not software accelerated, and it's still not running properly. So, if you have a $20,000 PC and you can't run N64 and GameCube games properly, it's not the hardware. It's the fact that no one has really cracked the code to run that shit properly. Nintendo built that shit very well. They future-proofed it. Like, if you want to play those games the way they were meant to be played, you're basically going to have to get an old GameCube, an old N64. The good news is that you can get an old GameCube and an old N64 relatively cheaply these days, like 50, $60. You can get one. If you're like me, I think I own like 4 GameCubes. All of them work, but I got 4 because I was missing cables for 2 of them. So I have 4 GameCubes. All of them work, but 2 of them work perfectly because I took cables and bits and pieces from the other ones in order to make the other 2 work. I have 2 N64s. I'm probably gonna buy another one just in case one of them fails. Love N64. It's one of my favorite 5th gen consoles. I don't know why I said in case one of them fails. Nintendo. This is during the days when Nintendo made their shit out of Nintendium. It didn't break ever, as long as you took care of it.
Yeah.
I mean, really, like I saw this thing. I had a broken GameCube. How the fuck did you break a GameCube?
Yeah.
That thing's
Had
broke.
some really rowdy family members in order to do that.
Look, fuck Ford tough, Nintendo tough. but yeah, yeah, oh man, I just stretched and popped so many vertebrae and joints. But yeah, I mean, where do you go from there? So let's see, what else have I been playing? I've been playing some old PC games. Might get back into Saints Row the Third or Saints Row 4. I don't know. I'm a Saints Row fanboy, so I like it. I like it a lot. I know some people might dislike that because they get mad when you say that you like Saints Row. But any game that lets me throw people off of a tower and them fall to their death, and you get points for how long they're in the air, it's pretty good. You know, because Saints Row started out as a Saints Row started out as a GTA clone, and then in some ways it's better than GTA these days because it still remains silly. You know. Versus, you know, GTA, which takes itself way too damn seriously these days. You know.
Yeah.
They're like, we're telling you
I was
this
about to
deep,
say,
involving story. It's like, look, man,
are you trying to be a novel
look, man,
with GTA?
look, man. I don't want a deep, engrossing story. Okay, like I think GTA was at its best when they were parodying shit. Like Vice City was a parody of Scarface and Miami Vice, and San Andreas was a parody of the '90s blaxploitation hood movies. But there was a little bit of social commentary there because it was kind of making fun of the LA riots of the '90s when those cops, when it came out that those crash drug task force police were like doing really unsavory shit. So there was a little bit of social commentary there, but it wasn't like, oh my god, you know, like GTA in my opinion is at its best when it makes social commentary with satire. Like when they're trying to tell like a deep, engrossing story, I'm like, yeah, you're fucking up right there. Every time, deep, engrossing story, you're fucking up. So, but that's me. Um, so yeah, been playing that. Uh, Anything else? Anyone else been playing?
I'm playing this game called Bleeding Edge. It's all right. It's one of those online objective-based games. It's free on Xbox. It's free with Xbox Game Pass, so I don't have to pay for it.
Yeah, yeah. I like games like that. Like, I mean, that's one of the reasons everyone's like, man, I can't believe you I can't believe you have the Epic Game Store. You damn right I have the Epic Game Store on my PC because they give me free games. I haven't. I bought one game from the Epic Game Store, but those free games though, those free 99 games. you know, look, there are places that I don't like shopping, but if they're giving away free shit or incredibly low prices, I'll go. Except Walmart. Fuck Walmart. But yes, I don't like Walmart. Oh God, my knee hurts.
I think you popped something.
I'm getting old, man. And I'm not exercising like I used to because there was like a gym for one of my locations that I'd go to and exercise. So I'm not exercising like I normally should. And I feel kind of bad about it, but I also don't feel like doing anything because I'm depressed.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Like everybody's feeling a little depressed
Everyone's
right now.
depressed right now because this shit is ridiculous.
Depressed.
Oh shit, they're
Yeah.
remastering Saints Row the Third. I wonder if I'll get that for free on PC if I already have it on PC. Let me check. Because, if it's on Steam, I'll get it. But, yeah. Playing my way through, been playing my way through Borderlands 3 again on true Vault Hunter mode, which is like kind of like you get better loot, face tougher enemies. So I guess that's cool. I don't know. Bethesda's having a sale this weekend if you like Bethesda's games.
Yeah. Is there anything worth picking up?
I mean, it's Steam, so there's always some cool shit.
I think.
I consider Steam as the. I
Green Man
consider
Games
Steam as
comes
the
out.
right.
What?
Go ahead.
I was saying I could pack. There's some things in there that are pretty sweet, but there's also dumpster trash.
I mean, how can I put this? How can I put
Your
this
mileage may
nicely?
vary.
The thing about Saints Row was never going to be as good as GTA. It really isn't. Although I have to say Saints Row 4, in my opinion, Saints Row 2 is better than GTA 4. Just because GTA 4 is so bad compared to, GTA San Andreas or Vice City. GTA 4 is bad. I know some people like it, but it's bad.
Ow.
So yeah, it's exclusive to Saints Row the Third is exclusive to the Epic Store for a while. So I will not be getting it on the Epic Game Store because I'm not cool with that.
What are some of the animes? The TV shows.
I've been watching Beastar. It's basically like that movie with about Zootopia, except it's M-rated. So like you see the animals get murdered.
Then that.
Yeah.
I have one anime I'm probably gonna start watching is that I forgot what it's called. In the Abyss or something like that.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know if you've heard of it.
No, man, I probably haven't heard of it.
Yeah, Made in Abyss. That's the name of it.
No, I probably haven't heard of it.
Never
I'm
heard of
not
it.
really that into animes. Like there's certain ones I will binge and watch the shit out of, but then other ones I'm like, eh. Like on
What
Netflix, I kind of been
enough for
into.
you?
Well, in Netflix, I've kind of been into Egretsuko, about this red panda office girl who's, desperately trying not to, trying to live her best life while being an office worker. So it's slice of life, but comedy and stuff like that. Look, streaming has been good because you have access to all this shit. Really, I've been on Hulu. I've been streaming on Hulu, but what I've been streaming on Hulu is not what average people would stream on Hulu. This is a shameless plug for something I think people might like. Pen 15. Been streaming on Hulu. It's a coming of age kind of angsty thing, but it's about these two young girls and going through the trials and tribulations of being a young person coming of age, dealing with real world shit.
What's this? What's it called?
Pen 15.
Oh,
Yeah. It's not a coincidence that Pen 15, if you look at it from a distance, looks like the word penis. But oh, it does. It's meant to. But before anyone says
It
anything,
was that obvious.
the two main characters are supposed to be playing like 12 going on 13-year-old girls, but they're actually portrayed by really young looking adults, except for the Asian chick. She's just a short Asian chick, but still, it's still pretty good. I mean, they deal with real life shit that young girls would go with, but it's a lot of it's universal. It's not just young girls. It's just if you're a young person and a kid, you probably knew someone or went through this yourself. Dealing with your parents are divorcing and you know puberty. Trying to fit in with popular kids, peer pressure. All that
I
type
just
of
want to
bullshit.
going back to anime. I just want to take a little risks when it comes to anime, just because kind of getting away from the typical Shonen Jump stuff. Not that I don't like that stuff anymore.
But you need other shit sometimes. I know, man. It's like I need a break from. I need a break from hearing a little Japanese woman yell and scream during the translation. It's like, look, I need a break. I need a fucking break.
Yeah.
I need a break. Like the Kit Kat bar. Give me a break. Give me a break. I want to take a break of that
Half a
Kit
piece
Kat
of
bar.
that Kit Kat bar.
Yeah, you need a break. After a certain point, you do need a break. Yeah. Now this isn't anime, but there's some adult animation on Hulu that people might like. There's Ninja Scroll, and it's subbed, not dubbed. I'll be adding that. There's Afro Samurai, dubbed obviously, because you gotta hear Sam Jackson just curse people out, because Sam Jackson cussing is just hilarious. Rick and Morty, obviously, the Venture Brothers.
I don't think I thought in Afro Samurai. I thought the animation was really good. I just didn't like the whole story.
Yeah, the story is kind of shit. The animation is good, but what kind of carries it through a little bit for me is just hearing Sam Jackson curse, because Sam Jackson is such a good actor, and his cursing is so poetic that
I was about sorry.
well, he's so good at cursing that even that it's like he's cursing, but I love it,
Yeah.
Um, Let's see what else. Obviously, they've got Rick and Morty, but I don't like Rick and Morty. Oh, another unpopular opinion. Yeah, I don't like Rick and Morty. I said it. I said it, goddammit. I don't like Rick and Morty. I've never liked Rick and Morty, okay?
I've never seen Rick and Morty.
I've seen it. I'm not impressed with it.
I'm no fan of that either.
Yeah. I like the Cleveland show though.
The Cleveland show just makes me wonder why I'm not watching the Boondocks.
Like here's what I'll say. Um how can I put this nicely? The thing that I like Family Guy to me, I don't like Family Guy because Peter Griffin is just a loathsome human being.
Yeah.
You know, people are like, well, The Simpsons has yeah, but here's the thing: the characters on The Simpsons, like Homer Simpson, is an asshole, but he still loves his family, right? Like he loves Marge, like he loves Lisa. He tries to love Bart, but Bart makes it hard as fuck. He loves Maggie, like he loves his father. You know, like he's an idiot, but he's trying really hard. He doesn't succeed, but he's trying. Peter Griffin is just a piece of shit. Like he's a total piece of shit. Like a complete and total piece of shit. His wife is a piece of shit. His daughter is a piece of shit. His dog is a piece of shit. That baby is a piece of shit. The only character in that house that isn't a piece of shit is Chris, and even he's kind of a piece of shit. like everyone on that show is just like there's and the Cleveland show at least was trying to do something different, you know? Which I liked, you know. He was actually trying to do something different and trying to be different. But it's just, you know, with these other shit, it was the same shit, you know. I don't like that. You know? I mean, I like different shit. So, yeah. No. After seeing Saints Row the Third remastered, I might get it again. Even on the Epic Store. Nah, I'll wait till it comes to Steam. It's coming out next year on Steam. I'll wait.
What game is that?
Saints Row the Third remastered.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, is it only on Epic right now?
Yeah, well, it's coming to Epic next month, but I'm not. I refuse to buy it on Epic. Like, there's only one game I bought on Epic, and that was Rogue Galaxy 2.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, they've got a dub of Akira, but I'm like, I don't want to watch Akira dubbed, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I never want to watch Akira dubbed. Akira should never be dubbed. If you're going to watch Akira, you need to watch that shit subbed. They got Jackass 3. But that's not the best Jackass. The best Jackass is Jackass 1, then Jackass 2. Jackass 3 just feels kind of sad because it's like everyone's way too old to be doing this shit, you know? It's like, it was fun seeing you take a hit to the crotch, 20 years ago, but now I just feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's uncomfortable seeing this grown ass man take a hit to the crotch.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I feel bad about it. In comedy, the basis form of comedy is Schadenfreude, which means something bad happened to you, which is funny to me. You know,
Yeah.
which is why you like the Three Stooges. That dude got the shit slapped out of him. That's funny, because it didn't happen to me. That's... But yeah, now is the time for streaming. You can stream all types of shit. I'm going to get into Parks and Recreation, and It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And of course, my personal favorite, yeah, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where everyone is just terrible. Like there is no one who has a redeeming like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia should be called the TV show where everyone is an asshole. Cuz that's literally what It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia is. Everyone is an asshole. So,
Yeah, I've heard about it. I've never seen it.
what? It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
Yeah, I've heard of it. I've just never seen it.
Well, if you get a chance, try and watch the first season of it. If you have Hulu or something, you can binge it. That's what I'm doing because got nothing else better to do. Shit. So yeah, I think we've gone on far enough. Anything you want to pimp out before we wrap things up? Kanoshi.
No.
All right. I'll pimp out some shit. So stay tuned this Friday. I'll be uploading the first part of my The Ultimate Fallout game video series. It will cover the introduction, the plot, and the setting. In part 2, I will do the characters, gameplay cook characters, etc. And there might be a part 4, part 5, part 3, part 4 after that. So 4-part video series. So the first one will drop this Friday. Look forward to it. If you're a Fallout fan and you would like to have a on-air discussion about what you would like to see in your Ultimate Fallout, just let me know, and we'll work out a time to have that short form conversation on air about it. So with that being said, that's the end of the video. Remember, rate, comment, share, subscribe, all that stuff. Well, Jules not on right now. Hype responsibly. And I guess fuck E3.
Actually, I was about to say, wash your beeping hands. And sorry, I had to hit the back.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, wash your hands and hype responsibly, and yeah, practice social distancing. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Peace. Good night.
Later.
Peace. Night.